we invite you to understand why Bucharest is so attractive and beautiful town in the world. Professor Maria Alexi, professor in Polytechnica in Bucharest, will present this beautiful town in front of us. We also will discover how the members of the Club Kalina organize many intergenerational activities, especially Easter celebrations. There will be performers of an original Bulgarian poem from the author. She is with us, and this poem is especially for this club because the poet is a member of the club. We also discuss our celebration of the 1st May. Don't forget that the day is day of not liberty, but working hard. And this International Labor Day, we would like to see how you celebrate, maybe manifestation, maybe something else. Accordance, of course, with our main item of 2022, discovering where are living the others. And also you will hear a nice Bulgarian song about the most famous flower in Europe, and you will be surprised by interesting Romanian contribution the next time, the next session. So let's start.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction. You choose for me a very nice title. And I'm also trying to underline the fact that Bucharest is a town between the East and West, because we are very connected to the Balkans, but we are also very connected to the Western culture. I will start with some geographical data. Bucharest is located in the south of the country, on the banks of the Danube River. I will tell you something about this small but mythical legendary river, and very close to the Danube. Actually, the Danube is what links us to Europe and used to link us to Europe and to countries around. In this map, you could see that Bucharest is now a large town, having not just downtowns and also it's a metropolis with what we call now the urban area, with a lot of villages and little towns which are actually part of Bucharest. It is very hard to say how many inhabitants Bucharest has, because a lot of people doesn't have identity card on Bucharest, but they are living and working in Bucharest. And talking about this metropolitan area, I have to say that people are going and working in Bucharest, studying in Bucharest and coming back home. But there are also a lot of people from Bucharest who go in this area. To quote just Otopen Airport, which is in a small town close to Bucharest, a lot of people there are actually living in Bucharest. Talking about the metropolitan area, what I want to say is the fact that with all those people, Bucharest has almost 4 billion people. Even if official, it has just 2.5. Also some historical aspects. It was first mentioned in 1459, but archaeological data shows that the settlement is older. On the right side, you have this document, which which was signed by the famous Vlad the Impaler, actually known as Dracula by Europe. He was a very good king for Romania, despite his contemporary legend. Bucharest developed because of its commercial importance. It linked west to east and north to south. And the crossing of this road were many years just in the place where Bucharest is now. It was an oriental town up to the 19th century, when it suffered a very quickly occidentalization or westernization. This is a picture made by Amedeo Preziosi, an artist from Malta, who visited Bucharest in between 1868 to 1869, and officially was his first painter or illustrator. What we know about Bucharest of that time, it's also due to his drawings and paintings. The beginnings of the city. Here on the right, you can see the image of the old court or the old town where the life of the city started. Is known also as Curtea Veche and is located on Dâmbovița River. The location was due to the fact that Dâmbovița assured the water, and you know that life is where water is. Bucharest is considered to be the youngest European capital, and that's why it doesn't have defensive walls. This is of a great importance of its development, because it developed in a, I should say, chaotic way. If you have walls, you have to fit inside the walls. We didn't have this problem. The city started to be a little bit more organized when the Phanariots arrived. They came from the Greek district of Constantinople, the district known as Phanar, and they ruled in Bucharest between 1821 to 80. And they ruled, from 1802 to 1821, and they had a great importance in the city life, even if they were very greedy, taking a lot of money from the population and a little bit corrupted. They also had a great role in the city urban development, because they were the first rulers who were concerned about roads, enlightenment of the city, and water supply. During their ruler period, there were a lot of problems like earthquakes, plague, the famous plague, and great fires. As you can imagine, in all medieval towns, houses were made of wood, and when a fire started, it was very difficult to stop. I told you that I'm going to speak about Dâmbovița because Dâmbovița is even today a kind of axis of the town. The town is on both sides, and usually the town developed on the left side of the river, not on the lower side of the river, not on the right side, which is the upper shore of the river. The old court was there. Famous monasteries were on the right side, and all the water supplies before the Phanariots arrived came from Dâmbovița. Also, industry developed because there were, as you can see in the image, there were a lot of mills. Those wagons on the left side of the pictures were specially built for water. They had barrels, and people put water into barrels, went around the town, and people from the town bought water. And they washed in the Dâmbovița, so the Dâmbovița was the heart of the city. Today, you can't recognize it. It looks like this. It was turned into a channel. This is, unfortunately, here you can see I couldn't find a better picture showing this wonderful bridge which was built recently on the river. The old city center, the place where everything started. You show it in a photo, in a previous photo. This was the main street. The name of the street came from the German town Leipzig. They used to take merchandise from Leipzig, and the word was phonetically turned into a Romanian word, Lipscani. It was the most fashionable, it used to be the most fashionable street in Bucharest, with a lot of shops having very good quality stuff and things. This photo on the left, the black and white photo, is from the 19th century, and the photo on the right is from the same area, but 2 or 3 years ago. Lately, this part of the city turned in a place of pubs, art galleries, and theater places, like in Grand Place in Brussels or Temple Bar in Dublin. Actually, the rebuild of this area had as a model Dublin's Temple Bar. It's a place of entertainment, as you can see, and also with some new buildings, but everything is done for attracting people. In Bucharest, we have a lot of restaurants. Here on the left, you can see one which is Carul cu Bere, the beer cart. Is a German-style restaurant, very popular. Generally, when we have colleagues coming from other university, we have a dinner in this restaurant, and they like it very much. We also have a lot of gardens, especially now in the summer. And due to the pandemic restriction, now all these places are full of people, even in winter. It's something that a good part of the pandemic. On the right picture, you can see the House of Capsha, which was a famous literary and art cafe. In the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century, all the artistic and literary elite of Bucharest used to gather here, and they said that your glory as an artist always started at Capsha, and your failure also started here due to the gossip of your friends. This is Victoria Road, which is even today one of the most important streets of Bucharest. You can see the road in the 19th century in the black and white picture, and I was able to find a picture showing the same area now in the 20th century. You can see that little has changed. The vehicles are of different types. There's still a lot of cars, a lot of people. Now there are no longer shops on Victoria Road. There are also a lot of cafe and art galleries. And in the weekend, in summer weekends, the road turns into a pedestrian one so that people can enjoy the atmosphere. A lot of artistical events take place here almost every week. There are a lot of theaters, so it's still the cultural center of Bucharest. During the 2 wars, Bucharest rulers' concern was to modernize the city, and so they cut it a new boulevard, Boulevard Magheru. In the black and white picture, you can see it between the 2 wars, and now how it looks today. What is strange is the fact that you can see people on the boulevard. There are a lot of cars, much more than in let's say 50 or 60 years ago, but people are in cars instead of walking along the pavement. It's a large city, it's a large road, sorry, with 8 slab of for cars. Landmarks of Bucharest. I thought that if you are coming to Bucharest, you will be probably, actually I made the presentation not as a very didactical one, but as for somebody who wants to know the city and somebody who will probably be a tourist in Bucharest someday. This was a hard decision to take because I know a lot of things. I even teach a course on Bucharest history. It's industrial history of Bucharest. And I had to make a choice for 50 minutes. Ateneul Român, the Romanian Athene, is a very important cultural building. It was built in 1865 by a French architect. Actually, the decision was taken there, but it was finished in 1888. And it was the building was possible due to a marketing campaign, we should say today. Give 1 lei for the Athene. 1 lei is like giving €1. And due to this subscription, they were able to build this building. Mainly today, it's mainly a place for symphonical concerts, for classical musical festivals, but between the wars, they also had cultural conferences. Mircea Eliade, a famous philosopher, used to be one of the people who started to speak in Romanian Athene. It's in Bucharest downtown, and in front of it there is a large garden. Actually, the whole building was built in a former garden. This is the inside. As you can see, it's a classical style. It's very beautiful, and the fresco around shows the history of Romania. Another beautiful building is the building on the left side. It was a house for people's economy. Now it's a bank. Actually, the bank is located somewhere else. They keep it as a place for official meetings. It's very beautiful. This is the university library built by, due to the effort made by King Charles II. King Charles II wasn't the best king of Bucharest. Actually, he was famous for his love affair and business, but he was a very intelligent person, and he was a sport for culture. This is a building which was on fire on December 1889 December. Everybody knows the House of Parliament. I have to say that I hate this building. For me, it's the embodiment of kitsch and bad taste. But nevertheless, when you speak about Bucharest, you have to speak about it, because a lot of people are visiting it. You have there a lot of figures, its area, its volume, how huge it is. I hate it not only because it's ugly, but also because it was built on a very beautiful district of Bucharest. Ceausescu demolished all those 18th and 19th century buildings. He moved one of the most beautiful monasteries of Bucharest inside a block of flats. So the monastery lost its first location, and due to that, it lost also its beauty, but is visited. So if you present Bucharest, you have to speak about it. It was built there because it's the safest place. There is a reason, after all. Specialists made many studies, and it proves that the impact of an earthquake is less dangerous in this place. On the other side, there are water springs there, So the building is capable to resist in case of an attack with its own water supplies, which we know it's very important. We know it from history. We know it from all wars. In this building, where now is the place of the parliament, there is also a museum, the Museum of Romanian Recent Art. There are also some exhibition halls, but it's very difficult to use it because, as I said, it's huge and it's very inhuman. The Triumphal Arch is a beautiful building which remembers Paris. It was built after the war between Romanian Russians, one part, and the Ottoman Empire. First, it was a construction, a skeleton actually, made of wood in 1879 to celebrate the victory against the Ottoman army and the liberation of Romania from the Turks. And it was more elaborated after the First World War, when Romania managed to gather with Transylvania and other Romanian provinces. It was again a building which was not very resistant. So what we see today was built in 1933 by one of the most famous contemporary architects, Petre Antonescu, who used a lot of, he generally uses a lot of elements from Romanian traditional architecture, but this one was really meant to be a remembrance of Paris, as the road to reach there, Șoseaua Kiselev, which is a very beautiful road surrounded by a lot of trees. In Bucharest, we have some palaces, and like everywhere in the world, these palaces were turned into museums. The white one is a palace built by a Phanariot ruler, Prince Shutu, who died here, and now is the Museum of Bucharest. The other one is the Royal Palace of Bucharest, where the National Art Museum is hosted. If you come to Bucharest, you have to go and visit its parks, and the most famous are Cismigiu Park and Herastro Park. Cismigiu is the oldest one. It was made by a German gardener and architect in the 18th century. The place was a very unhealthy place, full of water, a kind of pond in the middle of the city, with a lot of mosquitoes and other unhealthy animals. And he turned it into a very beautiful garden, which matches the French style and the English one in different corners. The Herastro Park is the largest park in Bucharest, with a large lake. There you can see also the village museum and a lot of statues walking around. Here again, you can see an image from Cismigiu Lake. The pond was turned into a lake, which is a skating rink during the winter. And the second picture is from Herastro, which is surrounded, the lake nowadays, it's surrounded by a lot of restaurants. Thank you for your attention. And what I want to add is that due to the fact that I was forced to tailor into the 50 minutes, I have no time to mention that Bucharest is a real international town, because we have different churches, mosques. We even have a Bulgarian church, but I was not able to find a good picture of this church, which is hosted in Bucharest downtown. So it's in around the Old Court Palace. I hope that my presentation was interesting enough to make you visit Bucharest when you will have the time and the occasion of doing it. Thank you very much once again for your attention.
Thank you very much to you. It was a very nice presentation and remember me many places that I have seen over there. So thank you very much.
And I have to say, I am waiting for you in Bucharest. When you will come, I will be glad to be a guide.
Thank you very much.
And a good host. Yes.
Maria Alexa, thank you very much. It was very interesting. I liked a lot that you made known how it was earlier and how it's up to now. And yes, I can imagine that it was not so easy to select in 15 minutes what to show and what to mention. And we know that you would be able to make a big lecture and to deepen. But it's the first approach. And I think for those who had been, they discovered nevertheless some new things. And for those who have never been, now they will be very interested to come. And then thank you for your invitation to meet you and to deepen. But perhaps there are some of us who have a question to Maria Alexa or to add something which you seem very important. So give a sign if you would like to say something.
I just would like to remark that this the Palace of Ceausescu was is the second, the biggest palace in the world, and has got 7 or 8 floors in the ground.
Yes, yes. And a lot of people died there because they were forced to work 12 hours a day to finish it as quickly as possible. And of course they were exhausted, or I don't know exactly. We don't know exactly how many people died, because at the time the press was not free and the communication was not open like today, but there were a lot of rumors. And you know that rumors sometimes have some roots. And it is an atomic, anti-atomic place there. And that's why it's important for those building under, I put some figures on the presentation. It was so important to have its own water supply. So the place has some real advantages. This is not an excuse for the cultural crime Ceausescu did, because it was a very, very beautiful district of Bucharest. It was a neighborhood which developed in the best period of the town, which was the end of the 19th century up to the Second World War, and everything was destroyed. And people, this I know for sure, because I had relatives and friends who lived there, and they had to leave the house in 2 or 3 days. They were not announced from, let's say, 2 or weeks, you are going to be demolished and so on. They wanted to stop any sign of revolt or something. It was a great drama, and this is still a drama for Bucharest. But nevertheless, people are coming and seeing this horrible building.
We had a conference last year in this building, in one part, in one small part of this real very big building. And I thank you to mention how many people suffered because of the vision of Ceausescu to have the biggest building and the most impressive and so on. And I think being in, you can't imagine how many people suffered for the reasons you named.
Yes, and he also built that Boulevard, which is now called the Boulevard of the Union, Boulevard de Uniri. And his ambition was that this boulevard should be larger than Champs-Élysées in Paris. And it's too large, you can never cross from one part to another, and actually is a dead road. Shop doesn't resist there, people don't like to live there, and it comes from nowhere and goes to nowhere, because a road has a communication role. They have to put people together, and actually this doesn't have this.
But Maria-Alexa, I think it was very interesting for all of us, because Bucharest is very well known for this parliament building, but you have make us known so a lot of very interesting buildings for culture and interesting for history and so on. And so I think we have a wider image now and idea of Bucharest. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your appreciation as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Alexei is professor in culture. So we keep this presentation as an example how to present the culture in the future.
I don't think it's so good, but I'll try.
We also will try. So let's continue with a very interesting club. It is a club of women, but they succeed to attract men. This is a club of pensioners, not only pensioners, but also younger people. So we have got possibility to hear a poem from the author, a poem about this club, because the poet is a member of the club. This is Nadezhda Radeva, and she is the president of Union of Freelance Writer in Ruse, Bulgaria. And after that, we will see presentation from the president of this club, Mrs. Krasimira Marinova, and to see what their activities with young generation and especially Eastern celebrations. So, Nadezhda Radeva, we give you floor. Надежда?
Преди да прочета стихотворението, искам да кажа няколко думи за себе си. Аз съм български автор, имам издадени няколко книги. Ето това е една от най-новите ми стихосбирки.
She is Bulgarian author and has got some books. One is the last one.
Това е друга стихосбирка, която е двуезична на български и на румънски.
This is a book with poems, one part in Bulgarian and in Romanian language.
Да. А най-новите ми книги са за деца. Това е стихосбирка за деца с стихотворения.
The new books are for children, poems for children.
А това е книжка с приказки, приключенията на Пращчо.
And this is a book with fairy tales about pig.
Да. И сега...
Само секундичка.
Сега ще прочита стихотворението, което написах по случай рождения ден на клуб Калина, 15-тия рожден ден.
Надя, почакайте маничко, благодаря. She will read this poem about the 15th anniversary of the club Kalina.
Хората от клуб Калина. Посвещава се на всички добри хора, членове на Русинския клуб Калина и специално на тяхната ръководителка Красимира Маринова. Има хора на света, млади, с весели сърца, да, познавам се с мнозина, всичките от клуб Калина. В Русе, Дунавския град, те живеят и творят, благонравни, позитивни и физически активни. Празник има ли? Добре, песни, танци и хорце и усмивки на лицата озаряват ти душата. Миналото уважават и България прославят. Обичаите ни родни приповтарят да се помнят. Знамето ни, тъс светиня, символ е на клуб Калина. Гордост е да бъдеш там. Чисто е като в духовен храм. Вярвам, правят добрини от човещина за мирни дни. С тях приятелството светло е. Заедно да бъдем ценно е. Мили хора от Калина, живи, здрави, да ви има. Да празнуваме и днес. Българското носим с чест. Благодаря.
Чудесно, браво, браво, браво. Браво, Надежда, браво.
Thank you. And so congratulations for the poem, but above all, congratulations also to the 20 years of existence of this club.
So, Nadezhda, maybe you can send us the picture of this book that is in Romanian and in Bulgarian. Because sometimes there are people from Romanian writers and maybe it will be interesting for them. So send us picture of your book, the first part. Thank you, thank you.
The cover. Hmm?
The first page, the cover. Thank you very much. Bravo, bravo. So let's continue with these activities of the Club Kalina. Красимира Маринова.
Живот и дейност на дружество Калина. През месец март клуб Калина отбеляза своята 15-та годишнина. До този момент в клуба членуват 116 души и всички желаят да имат активен социален живот. Затова се стараем да изпълним годишният календарен план с мероприятия. Next slide.
Не бързайте много, защото има превод. Транслейт.
Да.
Добре.
Ага. Затова така, този наш план включва множество екскурзии до интересни дестинации, свързани с важни дати и събития, за да се запазим, за да се запознаем с нови исторически ценности, музеи, паметници на изкуството и други. Next slide. Така, стараем се да се грижим за здравето си, за здравословното състояние. Затова 2 пъти годишно посещаваме специални заведения за рехабилитация, за да сме здрави, силни и бодри. За нас е чест и гордост да отбелязваме националните празници, но с голямо удоволствие празнуваме традиционните празници. Next slide. За да сме полезни съзнанията и уменията си за младото поколение, което е нашето бъдеще, работим под девиза приемственост между поколенията. Пресъздадохме първият пролетен християнски празник Лазаров ден с участието на лицата от основно училище Васил Априлов, град Русе. Next slide. На този ден най-важният ритуал е лазаруване, при който момичетата се обличат в народни носии, закичват косите си с венци и цветя, обикалят нивите, полетата и къщите, като пеят обредни песни и празнично танцуват, наричайки пожелание за здраве, любов, късмет и берекет. Next slide. На този ден посрещнахме 9 лазарки, над главите на които хвърляхме жито, че която повече жит се събере в пресилката си, по-голям берекет ще има през цялата година. Почерпихме ги с питка и мед по стар български обичай. Лазарките рецитираха, пееха, танцуваха за възхвала на семейството с пожелание за добро здраве и късмет. Накарахме лазарките да тропка с крака, за да се плодят домашните животни. По стар български обичай, според нашата традиция. Next slide. Заедно пресъздадохме обичая надпяване на накит. Всяка лазарка е сложила в котле с вода своя накит, гривна, а избрана жена вади една по една гривните и нарича за какъв ерген ще се омъжи притежателката на гривната. Next slide. Всички лазарки дарихме с подаръчета, на които те много се зарадваха. Големи и малки. Лазарки се хванаха за ръце и извиха кръшно лазарско хорце. Next slide. Чрез този празник децата се запознаха с ритуалите и традициите. По традиция, next slide.
Бърза, не дей бърза много, бърза.
Добре. По традиция на Велики четвъртък, преди изгрев слънце, боядисваме яйца и правим традиционният козунак. Изпълнихме тази традиция и с първото червено яйце натрихме на децата челцата за здраве и го сложихме пред иконата.
Бавно.
Добре. Клуб Калина отбеляза Велик ден с богата и красива изложба с конкурсен характер. С кратка презентация си припомнихме важността на празника и проведохме конкурса за най-красиво яйце и за яйце борец. Председателката на журито, Надето Радева, се затрудни в класирането на участниците в конкурса, защото всички експонати бяха прекрасни. Първите места бяха наградени с грамоти и символични подаръци. С хубава музика, български хора, много емоции премина този хубав празник. Next slide. Пожелахме си на този ден, този хубав празник да донесе във всеки дом здраве, мир и любов. С отбелязването на празника, Клуб Калина показа нашите традиции, които трябва да съхраним в българската съкровищница.
This on the right part are certificates for different competitions. The most beautiful egg, the egg who is the winner of beating between eggs, for the best exhibition for Easter, and for keeping intangible culture. So, continue. Welcome. Продължавай.
Next slide. Това е, Еми.
Ето още има.
Това е.
I have to say that I had been with Krasimira and her club, and it was so really funny to see the atmosphere, and they like to dance and they like to produce artistic how to say matters, and they like to be in contact, and food is also very important, not only for to eat, but also for to present in a very, very nice form. And so I get so good memories, Krasimira, from you and the activities you do with the clubs and with seniors and also with younger people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So now I would like to put only short information about one special flower, which is the most famous in European mountains. This is Edelweiss in Bulgarian, Edelweiss in Germany, but also Leontopodium. You can see it's so beautiful. Just, can you see my presentation? So, this German name is coming from two words, noble and white. And the name is very beautiful, like the flower. And the second name is coming from Greek words about leon and puff. This flower is, how to say, is we can find only in the mountains if we are good climbers. And this flower is lonely because it's alone over there. So the Bulgarian song will be from Satomi Takada and Georgi Gurev. In the song is written that this flower is alone in the mountains and nobody doesn't take care about this flower. Why do you bloom? Asked the author. And I would like to remark that Satomi Takada is Japanese lady married to a Japanese person. Her husband was a very famous musician. He died, and now she presents this song, beautiful song, with one Bulgarian musician. I would like to say that the director of this team with many prizes in international competitions and in Bulgaria is our colleague Ivanka Bailtova, who is very often with us on these come together sessions. Ivanka, tell us something about your team or maybe in the future you will present something? Ива?
Да. Сатоми и Георги са част от моята вокална група, която се казва Детелина. И наред с тях още 10 души участват в групата. Изключително съм радостна, че работя с тези хора, защото те са много отдадени на изкуството да правят музика. И пеем възрожденски, патриотични песни, стари градски песни, шлагери. Участваме в много...
Да приведа една част. The team of this group includes 10 members. She is the director, and they have participated in many competitions. She is happy that they are members of this group, and the work is director of the group.
Участваме в много национални конкурси и фестивали и в празници, които се организират в регионално и национално ниво. Участници сме и в телевизионни предавания и продължаваме в същия дух с много желание и ентусиазъм. Вече в репертуара ни успяхме да включим и обработки на фолклорни песни.
They have got folklore songs, also country songs, classical songs. They are winners of many competitions, and will continue to work. Ivanka, please prepare some presentation about team with some musical performance, and we'll be happy to hear. Thank you very much.
Най-голямо удоволствие.
With pleasure. Okay, thank you. Carmen, maybe we have to finish this beautiful, interesting session with so much information, with good people that we know very well, and new also people here. What do you think?
I think it was a good end with this song. It was so nice, and with the vision to have some presentations from Ivanka, but I hope also from others from you. We had a very nice presentation and interesting presentation from Maria Alexe from Bucharest today. And we would like to ask you to make known to all of us your country, your town, your traditions. You're very welcome. Get in contact with us and we will share. For this evening, thank you for coming, especially thank for all actors and the translators and the technician, and you can be sure that we enjoy to see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much for your...
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to translators, Brindusha, Nelly.